my sacrifice and the employer's sacrifice, combined both of them together to ensure some sustainability and to ensure my being able to service myself through my employment in this place. If the business does not succeed, then the workers do not succeed.
But that trust must also be based on credible information. You said information reaching you.
Of course.
Is the union aware of the state of the company? To your knowledge?
I am not able to say that at this point. When I sit with them, if I do sit with them, I perhaps will get more concrete information. I like the word concrete.
You've been kind to even comment on it, given the tenuous nature. Let's talk about the situation regarding the 9% and the fact that government had come in for so much criticism. The industrial climate in Trinidad and Tobago surrounded the allegations of a 5% cap. The Petrotrin situation has now blown that theory out of the water. How will that impact collective bargaining moving forward in the next couple of months?
Well, I have been with the position and I continue to hold the position. Now, first of all, let me back up and say that I have not been operating under any 5% cap. I am not going to operate under any 9% cap. I am not going to operate under any cap at all. I am to examine the ability of the business to meet fairly and squarely the demands of the workers, how those demands and if their application, if they are agreed upon, will affect the rest of the economy as far as I understand it myself. Okay? So, I mean, had there been a 5% cap, I don't know that I would have been able to have Petrotrin and the OWTU move to the settlement that was effected. And essentially, let me say that that 9% settlement was a Petrotrin OWTU, or if you prefer, an OWTU Petrotrin settlement. Is not the settlement of the Minister of Labour. The Minister of Labour might have assisted in engineering the settlement, but it is to the credit of both parties. Yeah? All the saber rattling and so on, they were able to shed that and come to an agreement. Every other negotiation that is reported to the Minister of Labour, where there is a dispute and the Ministry of Labour must intervene, we are going to take each one of them on its own merit. I am not operating with any cap.
So one doesn't set the precedent for any other one. Each one is independent.
We do not have, at least not up to this time, in Trinidad and Tobago, a system of national bargaining. Yes? The Exchequer says that this is where the settlement will occur, and that is what is applied to everybody. We do not have that in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes? So each employer, on the basis of his ability, yeah, ought to look at the whole question of our promoting decent work, decent pay, higher levels of productivity, and a healthy and peaceful industrial relations climate, if we are committed to moving Trinidad and Tobago forward.
Minister, that said, do you think we need to move to that position of a national negotiating position, as opposed to having individual positions in the various sectors and industries?
I don't think that, given how our economy is organized and the extent to which we might have some exercise over the control of our economy, I don't think that we should want to go there. I think we should be appealing to all parties exercising reasonableness, yes, and promoting the interest of industry, promoting the interest of Trinidad and Tobago.
We're with Minister of Labour, Small and Micro Enterprises, the Honourable Errol McLeod, with an exclusive interview. When we come back, the issue of moving the process forward and healing relationships. Stay with us.
We're back here on First Up, the First Stop in your busy day with an exclusive interview with Labour Minister Errol McLeod. And we want to invite you to jump into the conversation. You can send us your texts at 4913. Your keyword is First Up, FIRSTUP, all one word. Leave a space, type your comment, and then send everything to 4913 and do it really quickly while we have the minister so that we can put some of your comments to him and have him respond to them as well. So, Minister, basically what you're talking about in terms of the whole approach to the collective bargaining process and these negotiations, you're trying to ensure on the one hand the sustainability of the companies, and on the other you're trying to ensure that the companies themselves adhere to a decent work agenda as well. Or am I reading it wrongly?
Well, it is expected that everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, government, labor, business, yes? I mean, we are the ones in this triangular, yeah, government, business, labor. We are the ones who drive Trinidad and Tobago, or cause it to stand on one spot and mark time. We are the ones who must take it forward, and we are the ones who must be seen to be taking the decent work agenda forward. The Decent Work Agenda was developed by the International Labour Organization in 2002, I think it was. Yeah? And it talks to productivity. It talks to the recognition of labor. It talks to the whole question of safety, environmental preservation. I mean, the whole gamut of the thing. It talks to, as a matter of fact, one would say, that the worker's right is a human right. It talks to human rights, yeah? And it was in 2011, early 2011, I think, we launched the Decent Work Agenda, and we are now developing the policy and preparing the program for Trinidad and Tobago. I should hasten to say before I forget, I don't know how much time left, how much time we have left. Last June, at the 100th conference of the International Labour Organization, Trinidad and Tobago was elected to the governing body of the ILO. I think that we in the Ministry of Labour and Small and Micro Enterprise Development, we campaigned very successfully for Trinidad and Tobago to be elevated to the governing body of the International Labour Organization. Now that puts so much more responsibility on our shoulders, because here we are belonging to the GRULAC group and representing the Caribbean at that level. Indeed, there is an important meeting of the governing body later this month, March, coming up here, at which we are going to be setting the agenda for the international conference at the end of May, June. And we will also be electing a new director general. Now, you know, the ILO is an adjunct of the United Nations and responsible for dealing in a tripartite manner with governments, business, and labor. I attended the last one in June of last year, and I think I made that point already. And we heard very important statements being made in the special forum that had been organized for important leaders in the world to come and address these, however many of us were in this conference. So we heard from Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. We heard from President Kikwete of
African nation?
Julius Nyerere used to
Yes.
be. Tanzania.
Tanzania.
Yeah? We heard from this name, I can't ever pronounce it, the President of Indonesia, the President of the Swiss Federation, also from the Russian Prime Minister, who is fighting now for survival, Putin. Okay? And they were all touching on the importance in this period